Our movie kicks off with four orphan kids living on the streets, spending their days picking through garbage and scrap metal and selling whatever they collect at the local junkyard. At night, they sleep wherever they can, and the police chase them out of every spot they find. One night, they stumble into the wrong place at the wrong time. A gang that kidnaps children is running an operation, and the four kids witness it. The gang leader immediately tells his men those kids need to die before they can talk to anyone. The kids hear this and run before anyone can act on it. By the following morning, things feel genuinely hopeless. They end up sitting on a railway track, waiting, having concluded that if death is already coming, they might as well choose the circumstances themselves. Then they hear a baby crying somewhere nearby. All four get off the tracks without discussion and follow the sound. What they find is a tiny infant lying abandoned in the open. Ants already moving across his body, nobody around. They wrap him up and go straight to the hospital. The doctor treats the infant and asks about the mother. The kids tell him the truth. They found him on the street while working. They explain that they intend to raise him and make sure he becomes a decent person. The doctor is moved enough to give them a small place to live in. He also encourages them to report the kidnapping gang to the police, which they do. The gang leader gets arrested. The four kids name the baby Rama and take care of him like he's the most important thing in the world, because to them, he is. 5 years pass. Rama is ready for school and the brothers make sure he gets there. The gang leader finishes his sentence, gets out of prison, and immediately goes looking for the four witnesses who put him there. He finds them. He doesn't find what he expected, which is Rama, who arrives at the exact right moment and takes the gang leader apart with a precision and ferocity that has nothing to do with his age. Rama kills him. The doctor watches this unfold and makes a decision. He enrolls all four brothers in school, and from that day treats all five of them as his own children. The film then jumps forward and shows us Rama fully grown, working his way through an entire criminal network level by level until he reaches the top and finishes the man sitting there. It feels like a conclusion to something. Then he rolls off his bed and hits the floor because he didn't cover himself properly and the blanket slipped. It was a dream. The reality is that Rama lives with his four brothers, all of whom are married with children, in a shared home that runs on a very specific kind of warm domestic chaos. Rama cuts vegetables in the mornings. He's fine with this. Their neighbor Binka comes over to invite everyone to her birthday party and looks at Rama while noting that the household cook deserves a night out. She leaves. His brothers immediately tell him the situation is obvious and he needs to show up to this party as himself and not as someone's chef. Rama goes. He walks through the door and starts dancing, and the room organizes itself around him. Binka joins him and they do something on the dance floor that causes a magazine photographer to take a picture that will come up later. She kisses him at the end of the night. The photograph gets printed. The next morning, Rama drops his nephews at school and meets with the principal, who asks about the children's father. He tells her their dad is an elections officer. This is Bhuvan, the oldest of the four brothers, and the one whose story becomes what this film is really about. A government minister named Bravo has been reviewing Bhuvan's file to determine whether this man is someone who can be trusted with a difficult and important assignment. What the file reveals sends us back in time. In the city of Bihar, elections are being fought between an honest governing party and an opposition bloc led by a man named Banda and his son-in-law, Balim, neither of whom is particularly committed to winning fairly. Bhuvan is the official in charge of making these elections happen without fraud. His assistant flags a vehicle based on intelligence that it's carrying bribe money. Bhuvan has it stopped and searched. Inside is exactly what they expected. Cash in volume intended purely for vote buying. The vehicle belongs to Banda's operation. The arrest is made. Balim shows up to Bhuvan in person shortly after and offers him 25 million to release the car and the money. Bhuvan listens, asks to see the car key, takes it, hands it to his assistant with instructions to file it as Balim grabs the assistant and starts squeezing. Bhuvan watches and tells him the boy is going to die if he keeps that up. Balim keeps squeezing and threatening. Bhuvan doesn't give an inch. Back in the present, Rama has located the factory where Balim runs his political people. He goes through every one of them and then walks into Balim's office and leaves Balim in a visible state. He brings him outside and finds the press waiting. He tells the cameras, "Touch my brother again, and this is the least of what you get." Banda responds by sending a corrupt officer to one of Rama's brothers with a message. "Bring your brother to apologize to Balim, or the consequences for your whole family become permanent." The brother, genuinely afraid of what Rama's courage cost people around him, brings the message to Rama. They go to the meeting. Banda's side says the apology has to be done properly, as a physical act of submission in front of everyone present. Rama looks at the room and says, "That window closed already," then spits at the man outlining the terms. He hits a few people on the way out to make the statement specific. He goes home and tells his brother's wives a version of events in which he apologized beautifully and everything was resolved peacefully. He's laughing while he says it. Nobody believes him. One of the brothers tells his wife privately that he's afraid Rama's fearlessness might eventually be the thing that kills someone he loves. They decide to move the situation by getting Rama into a marriage discussion, hoping something to protect might calm him down. They visit a potential bride's family. The mother sizes Rama up and makes her own assessment. Her daughter Sita is in training when they arrive. The mother calls her in. Sita says she needs 10 minutes to change. Her mother says, "Don't bother. If the man sitting in my house came here without changing, you can come as you are." Sita comes in. Rama sees her. The experience of seeing her is different from what he expected, and something the same appears to happen on her side of the room. The mother proceeds immediately to the structural interview. "What do you do for work?" Rama says who finds work in this environment, which is honest in a way the mother does not find reassuring. She describes the expectations. Up before her daughter, coffee ready before training, breakfast and juice when she returns, apartment in order at all times. Rama absorbs all of this, wants very much to say something, and says instead that he understands completely. She adds that if her daughter is ever unhappy, there needs to be an apology. Rama says he'll apologize to her daughter, to the mother, and to the country. His brothers manage the room. The mother then produces Sita's medical reports and says Rama needs blood work too. He agrees. A doctor is called immediately. While the blood draw happens, chaos erupts on the street outside. A man who tried to assault a girl has been caught by a group of young women and is being addressed very physically. The most committed participant is a woman named Bobby, married to one of the brothers, mother of 6, and categorically not someone who leaves situations like this unresolved. Rama's entire extended family watches from across the street and collectively moves away from the window before anyone connects them to the scene in the road. The family sits down later and debates the match. Bhuvan says it doesn't feel right to him. His wife says, "Let Rama decide." She asks Rama directly, "Are you genuinely interested?" He says she's beautiful, but he doesn't know how to work with the mother's conditions. At that moment, Sita appears because she came to talk to someone. The senior wife pushes Rama to speak with her privately. He tells her honestly, "I'm attracted to you, but those conditions your mother listed don't work for me." She says they don't have to be permanent. Just do what needs doing until you find work and figure the rest out. When they come back, his brother's wife tells Sita that tomorrow is Rama's birthday, the day the brothers found him, which is the day they've always celebrated, and she should come. She comes. The celebration is the kind these brothers run because they've been running it for years and it lives in their bodies. Music and noise and everyone laughing at the same moments. Sita watches Rama inside all of this, and it tells her things the interview room couldn't. The next morning, the brothers tell him to learn to cook, for Sita's sake specifically. He says for her sake, he'll learn anything. He starts with coffee and juice and brings them to her for feedback. She moves closer to the family over the following days with a naturalness that suggests she's already made her decision. Meanwhile, Banda has found a corrupt officer willing to finish the job. The officer confirms the arrangement and demonstrates his loyalty by showing Banda photographs of people who opposed him over the years and killing them one by one in front of him. He then burns the location and has his own assistant take a staged shot. The man is wearing a vest to make everything look like an armed confrontation he walked into. The paperwork will say unavoidable clash, not execution. Bhuvan tells his wife he needs to go north for work and will return soon. He pulls his assistant aside and asks him specifically not to create any situations. They say goodbye. Minister Bravo, continuing to track the family, learns they've moved residences. Fear drove them out. He tells his people to find them. Bobby's family comes to visit the new house. Bobby announces she's stepping out to deal with someone who harassed her daughter and will be right back. The family no longer reacts to these announcements. When Sita steps outside, she finds Rama on the balcony just as Binka is leaving for a trip. Binka asks him to come along. He says no. She says he'll miss her. His sister-in-law waits until Binka is gone and describes how unfortunate it is that the woman is traveling alone. Rama says Binka is a neighbor, and there's nothing between them. His sister-in-law produces the birthday magazine from somewhere and opens to the photograph. He says it's a relative in the picture and that this particular atmosphere needs to stop. She says she should believe him and disbelieve her own eyes. He says exactly and takes her out before the discussion can continue. At a compound in another part of the city, a man named Rasha wakes from what has been a significant period of unconsciousness. He looks in a mirror. There's a mark on his face. The earlier sequence that looked like Rama's dream was real. Rasha marked. Rasha's men taken apart. Rama's work. He tells his second-in-command to find this person and bring him. The corrupt officer arrives at Rama's house with a team, kills the security there, fires weapons throughout the property to build the picture of a firefight, and arrests the entire family under the cover of a law enforcement action. Bobby argues with the officer, and he hits her. Everyone gets handed to Banda. When Rama gets the news he's already moving, he brings his niece. When they arrive, she sees her father and runs to him. The officer fires a shot next to the child mid-run, and she goes down. Everyone in the area believes she's dead. Rama reaches her, and she opens her eyes. The officer smiles and then walks to one of the brothers and hits him in front of Rama's face, watching to see what comes out. Rama says he'll apologize. He says the words. He's released. Banda accepts it. But Banda has already told the officer his real instructions, and the officer has his men positioned and ready. What Rama does to Banda's people doesn't negotiate with the situation. He moves through them, and then Rasha's forces arrive at the edge of the property, and he goes at them too, working through a back area where workers are handling sharp-edged tools and using whatever he picks up until the Army Minister Bravo, kept in reserve, arrives and finishes the last two standing over him. Bravo reaches Rama and says directly, "You are the person who is going to save this region." He explains everything. Bihar is a working city with one territory that hasn't been under government control for years because Rasha's private army makes official authority meaningless. When Bravo tried to hold elections in that area, Rasha's men destroyed the proceedings. Rasha then came to Bravo's office, handed him women's bangles for each candidate as a statement, and said, "I'm letting you leave this time. You know what happens if there's a next time." Bravo needed someone honest and capable enough to stand in that role without being broken. He built a plan around Bhuvan, placed him as elections officer for the contested territory, backed him with soldiers, and went personally to tell the people there, "Vote without fear, the protection is in place." He's trying to return this land to the people who live in it. That same afternoon, the family at a nearby temple learns from a priest that any two people who want a blessed union must lift a sacred object and ring the great bell together. Rama lifts Sita and she rings it, and both of them are smiling. That night, Rasha's army overruns Bhuvan's camp while everyone sleeps and destroys it completely. The next morning, Rasha comes and kills the officers who cooperated with the elections initiative, one at a time, while Bhuvan watches. Bhuvan tries to stop it. Rasha pauses firing, then presents the bangles he's famous for, the symbol he places on everyone who loses to him. He tells Bhuvan to put them on if he wants his remaining people to live. Bhuvan looks at the people behind him and puts them on. Rasha tells him to dance. Anyone who refuses is killed. Bhuvan dances with tears on his face, watching the crowd lose faith in him and in everything he came here to do. Rasha has Bhuvan and his surviving team brought to a location between two mountains. His second-in-command notes quietly that this is where people who oppose Rasha come and don't leave from. Bhuvan looks at the men with him and says what he has to say. There is someone who will come and free this territory, but something has to happen first, and one of them has to be the reason it starts. He runs. Every guard fires and nothing hits him. He finds a working communications line and gets Rama on it for what might be the last few seconds available and says, "Come find me." Then the guards reach him and the call cuts. Rama is at an airport and running before the sound fully dies. Rasha learns about the call and recalibrates. Wait for the brother. Finish them both when he arrives. Bhuvan tells his brother when Rama reaches them, "I told you not to come." Nobody tells Rama not to come and has it mean anything. He arrives on a black horse and Rasha's full available force is positioned to take him. They manage it and bring him in front of Rasha. Rama informs Rasha that he killed 300 of his men on the way, 100 going, 100 alongside, 100 after arrival. He's inventing all of it with complete certainty and maximum irritation as the goal. Rasha orders him killed. The difficulty is that anyone close enough to do this becomes someone Rama can kill instead. He gets his hands free, pulls the two men holding Bhuvan away from him, and works through everyone remaining until there's room to grab his brother and what's left of the team and move. Rasha appears one final time and goes for the only target that reaches through Rama's defenses without needing to go through Rama. He puts a blade into Bhuvan's stomach. Rama's response to this is not controlled. He puts wounds on Rasha until Rasha goes down. then drops to his knees next to his brother and says they're going to get the vehicle and get to a hospital. The vehicle is not working. Bhuvan looks at him and says, "The first time I saw you, you were crying. You're crying again now." He asks Rama to take care of everyone and never let a child grow up the way they did. He says in the next life they'll be born from the same mother and be real brothers from birth. Bhuvan dies. Back in the present, Bravo tells Bhuvan's wife everything. She learns her husband is dead and holds on to Rama while she cries, and the whole family wraps around him. When she's ready, she asks to see the grave. Rama takes everyone to the mountain. They stand at the burial place, and she is quiet long enough to remember what Bhuvan said and what he believed and what he wanted. She turns to Rama, "Finish the man who killed your brother and give the law back to this city." That's what Bhuvan was doing, and it's the only thing that gives his death meaning beyond what was lost. Rama goes into Rasha's territory. He finds children in the street and asks one of them if they know who he is. The child says no. Rasha says he's back. The child says Rasha died a long time ago. Rasha calls a man holding a snake and tells him to let it out. The man says it's venomous. He says, "Let it out." Rasha holds the snake and lets it bite him repeatedly until the snake stops moving. He asks the child again if they understand. The child says, "Yes, we get it. You're tough." Bhuvan's wife appears and stands in front of Rasha and says, "You killed a man who had two dreams. One was a family. One was a community that lives in peace. You destroyed the first dream. We're here to build the second one in his name. There is one person among us who will be the instrument of that." Rasha says he's right there, and they can show him what they plan to do. Rama walks in. The people standing between him and Rasha find out what that arrangement costs. He reaches Rasha, and the last confrontation between them has nothing unnecessary in it. He gets Rasha down. The symbolic finish is the bangles. The ones Rasha made Bhuvan wear as an act of degradation, wrapped now around Rasha's own neck. 2 strikes, a sword on the ground waiting for him when he falls. The neck meets the blade. The territory Rasha held is free, and with that, our movie ends. Hope you liked the recap. If you reach the end, don't forget to leave a like on the video and write us a nice comment, as you always do. And for those watching us for the first time, subscribe to the channel to see all the upcoming recaps. See you in the next movie. Peace.